Star Wars Unlimited enthusiasts, welcome to today's video where we got some fun gameplay going on as we have Trilogy Night here at Valkyrie Vault. So on July 30th, our locals decided we're going to do Trilogy, mainly also because Gen Con was happening at the exact same time, so we weren't sure who all was going to be coming down to play. We got about 5 people, so we still have 3 rounds of Trilogy for you all. If you don't know how Trilogy works, you build 3 decks, but among all 3 decks, all the cards in it can only be used 3 times. So basically, think about it, if you have a card like Aggressive Negotiations and you have 2 red decks, well, you can only use Aggressive Negotiations, either split it 2 in 1, so 2 in one red deck or 1 in another, or 1 red deck owns all 3. So you have to kind of split it around, or even if you build 3 red decks, each one could have Aggressive Negotiations, but you could only play it as a one-up. So it's a really fun building format for Star Wars Unlimited because it really pushes you to build different strategies, play around with different colors, and even play around with leaders or even villainy and heroic leaders that you've never really played around because you're just trying to build different style of decks that can all then like play a good amount of cards. So for round number 1, our 2, so you pick up 3 and then 1 is banned. So we're just going to look at 2 leaders each side that we will be using. We have Vane Yellow with Vane Yellow, Moth Blue, Grogu Moth Ash Blue. We have Grogu Blue, and we have Palpatine Sec Data Vault. So with that, we're going to go into game number 1. All right, folks, welcome to game number 1 for, of course, round number 1 of the Trilogy Night. For starting out, we have Vane Yellow versus Palpatine Sec Data Vault. Now, it's a big reminder here. You still have to win at best 2 out of 3, but you must win with the 2 decks that you have. So the banned deck is not played, but you still have to win with 1 game with both of your decks that were not banned. So in this case, player A over here must win with Vane Yellow and then Moth Ash Blue. And this player over here must win with Palpatine Sec Data Vault and Grogu Blue. So that is what they must do. So let's do a quick synopsis of the decks. Vane is all about upgrade destruction. Vane states on its front side, tap them. You may defeat an upgrade on one of your units, and if you do 2 damage to your opponent's base. Flips on 5, it does the exact same thing on attack, but you can then do 2 damage to a unit or base. So you destroy an upgrade, and then you can ping around some damage. It's a very interesting strategy of being able to use like chip ping everywhere. So on the front side, destroying advantage tokens or any form of token that you have, and then putting some chip damage on your opponent's base, pushing them a little faster to be killed over. One of the most powerful cards for this deck and for this leader, nonetheless, is Vane's Snub Fighter that gets an advantage token every single time a friendly unit completes an attack that damaged the base. So it's able to constantly gain advantage tokens and giving itself advantage token as well if it does complete its own attack and deal damage to the base. And then you can use Vane to knock off that advantage token so that you can then do 2 damage to the base. So it's a very nice like reciprocal ping damaging quick damage like style to the base. Palpatine here is from Sec. Of course, he is the specialty leader from Sec that states you can tap it, pay 1. You can look at, I believe, at the top 6 of your deck for a plot card added to your hand and place the rest on the bottom of your deck. He flips on, I believe, 7 or 6, and then you can first plot card you play from your resources, you can reduce the play cost of it by 3. So the whole kind of gimmick here is it's sort of a pseudo control strategy. It had more control in pre-rotation where it had a lot more things, but it still could be played very strong in this format as well as a control strategy because we got a whole new sleuth of control cards in it as well. So it's very interesting to see it. It is playing Data Vault. Back in the day, green was the selection for Palpatine for control. I think it did lose a lot of its power. Right now, the best 2 control strategies, in my opinion, are going to be Daedra and Cat Ash. But still, this leader is pretty fun, especially because of the plot mechanic and being able to do different styles of things with plot. So, with that said, let's get into game number 1. All right, here we go for game number 1. Looks like Vane is just finishing up the resources. We're going to start with a Director Credit, and then we're going to go for a Flare ship. All the credit tokens, by the way, are advantage tokens there, so it does come in when played, when defeated, give an advantage token to a unit. So it does give advantage token. So, and then Vane taps it to destroy the advantage token, allowing it to, of course, Vane deal 2 damage to base here. So we're going to go for the Krennic. As a reminder, Krennic has shielded, and then the next unit you play, the unit you play with when defeated gets reduced cost of 1. So Flare is going to attack here, and then that's going to be able to do 2 damage to the base as well. And then we're going to go for a Newt Gunray. Then we're going to go for an 𝐒𝐻𝐾47. So again, Newt Gunray on attack does have grit, and then Newt Gunray on attack is allowed to be able to can give a unit Sentinel for the phase of attack. And then we have heightened perception, and when the start of the regrouping phase, the unit attached to it gains a credit, gains a advantage token. So anyways, we're going to go for, of course, the shuttle, Krennic's personal shuttle, that's going to steal Krennic's shield and give that to the Flare, and then that's going to give itself a shield because it does come in shielded as well. So anyways, we can go for a Kadem on the Flare, and then that's going to be able to knock off the shield off it. It cannot destroy the Kadem trigger. It cannot destroy Kadem because Kadem technically is your opponent's upgrade, not your upgrade. So Vane doesn't allow it. So anyways, we're going to then have a Vane trigger to deal 2 damage to the base there, destroying the shield token it stole from the shuttle itself. So we're going to go then for the Palpatine, and we're going to go look at the top. Oh, I think it's top 5, not top 6. So anyways, we're going to go then look for a plot. So we're going to grab a Chancellor Palpatine and add that to card in the hand, and the rest do go to the bottom. And then it looks like then we're going to have a full-on pass. Again, most people don't really cut our locals cut the bottom of like that shuffle deck. When you search, typically you're supposed to offer it to your opponent to cut to randomize the bottom of the deck. That is common courtesy within massive tournaments. Here, as apologies, as my camera is deciding to go out of focus for the event, and it's going to come back into focus. So anyways, we had the destruction of Newt Gunray as well. So does look like we had a flip of how we're calculating damage here. So anyways, the Flare does get another advantage token, but again, it is under good damage. So as long as your opponent can show blue-black, you can't use any of its on-attack triggers, and as well as everything. So anyways, then we're going to have the shuttle get killed off, and with no glory in the results, triggering its when defeated skill, so allowing us to take the heightened perception, and then putting that under the Krennic, and then we're going to have the Vane trigger its effect to destroy a credit token to allow it to deal 2 damage to the base. And then we're going to have, of course, the Director Krennic attack. And then we're going to have Vane. Vane is going to swing. It's going to pop off the last advantage token. Going to keep calling credit token because it's a credit thing. And then we're going to pop that to deal 2 more damage to the base there. And then we're going to go for, of course, apologies, a lot of things. So anyways, don't know what all just happened there. But anyways, we did show for, of course, the Kadem. And then we had I don't know the monolith color card there that gives 2 credit tokens to a unit here. So so it did give 2 advantage tokens, not credit tokens, advantage tokens to Vane, and then the Flare, and then of course after that I don't know what. Oh right, then the Stygian was put onto the Director Krennic there. Then that is 2 damage onto the base there because of the Stygian effect as well. So it's really nice to always see it onto. I prefer to put it onto something that is not a unique named character, because all they need to do is play another of that Director Krennic, and then they could destroy the Stygian itself. So anyways, we're gonna have Vane swing at the base, and then we're gonna use Vane's effect to then do 2 more damage. So he dealt 4 on attack. 3 on attack because he pops the advantage token first. As we're going to go for another Chancellor Palpatine looking on top. We're going to go for, it looks like a plot of someone, a 7-cost plotter there. I don't know what it was. Oh, it may be First Light. That's probably what it is. I believe First Light has a bounty card on it. I don't know. I can't remember First Light's advantage. And then we're going to go for another Stygian onto the Gonk Droid, because Stygian is not a unique upgrade. So meaning that now our Chancellor Palpatine player takes 4 damage per regrouping phase, and cannot restand the Gonk nor restand Director Krennic either. So it is a little damaging here for all of that, because the fact of the matter is there's not much that can happen here, because again, the base is just going to take another boatload of damage here. Because every turn is going to take 4 damage on that. We're going to go for flip up Chancellor Palpatine, then we're going to trigger Chancellor Palpatine's effect. Here we're going to go for a Chancellor Palpatine. Again, one of these is reduced cost of 3, and then we're going to go for a Sly more as well. So one of these is free, but nonetheless, 2 cards have to go in the top of the deck here. So it looks like the Chancellor is going to be the free one. Then we're going to pull out the Slightmore, and then we're going to do that. So Slightmore does give a unit a minus to its attack and defense here. So Vane would probably be the target here for it as well. So, and then we're going to get 2 spy tokens here. That's just going to be shield tokens. Again, spies are 0/2s. We're going to be able to kill off one of those spy tokens because Vane is going to be able to, of course, either use his effect or anything. So can kill off a spy here with his effect, killing off the credit token off of the flare. And then Chancellor Palpatine is going to be able to immediately kill off Vane. Here we're going to go for another flare, then putting a an advantage token. I'm going to keep calling it credit token. Advantage token. Then we're going to go for, of course, the shuttle. And it's going to steal an advantage token. And then it's going to get a shield for itself there. And that's going to be 4 more damage on the base for Data Vault. Oh, that Data Vault is very close to dying here, especially since space has gotten a little out of hand now against our opponent. So honestly, I'm not sure if at this point there might be a way to win it. We do have emergency powers coming down here. Gonna go for a full play of everything else. So that should be like 8 experience tokens going on to Chancellor Palpatine, which is actually illegal, by the way. Emergency powers states on it that your opponent, the unit you target must be a non-leader unit. So in this case, it doesn't really overly matter. There was no way for emergency powers to win the game because Vane's just going to be able to kill that one and win the game. But yes, you cannot emergency powers your leader. Emergency power states on it, pay 1, then you may target a non-leader unit, pay as many resources as you wish, and then give that unit +1/+1. So basically give it that many experience tokens on. So in this case, that was an illegal activation, illegal target, not an illegal activation, but an illegal target for the emergency powers. But nonetheless, Vane Yellow was able to beat Palpatine Sec Data Vault. Now the big thing about this is that this player must now swap to that Moth Ash Blue deck and must win with that one. The opponent over here can now choose to stay with Palpatine or go with their second deck being Grogu. So they can now decide which one they want to go to try to win. Again, both sides must win with both of their decks, meaning that if Palpatine or Grogu do win against the Moth Ash Blue, then meaning that they would then have to play again Moth Ash Blue versus whatever this opponent has left that they didn't win with. It's like I said, Trilogy is a really fun format. If you guys haven't tried it out your locals, try to get your players to get into it. It's a really fun format to build around with. We haven't done Eternal Trilogy yet. I do want to try that, but honestly, it would just kind of turn into people would just still build 3 of the best decks in the format. But hey, you do get to ban one of them. Which deck do you want to ban the most of? But anyways, with that said, let's get into game number 2. All right, folks, welcome to game number 2. Our players have swapped their decks. As a reminder, this player still must win with Palpatine Sec Data Vault to officially claim the full gauntlet for the game. So they must win with that leader alongside winning with the new Grogu from Ash. Grogu states on his front side, nothing. He's a blank leader. He flips on 4. He flips anytime you play a unique 4-cost unit to the board. So he has no flip parameter like resource or anything. He just literally flips every single time that you play a unique unit that has 4 cost or more. So when you flip, when you attack, I believe it's when you attack, you get a +1 to your defense, and then when you defend, I forget how he works. He's not the most intuitive leader, honestly, but you get a +1 to attack, I believe, when attacking a opponent's unit, and then they get -1 to their defense, I believe. I can't fully actually remember how he states on his backside, but nonetheless, he's not a good leader, so he technically just allows you to buff your attack and your defense depending on how what's happening. I believe if your opponent's attacking you, you get a +1 to your defense. If you attack your opponent, you get a +1 to your attack. So that's just kind of how it goes. And then I may be incorrect on that. I believe there's a -1 somewhere in there. But he's a 0/3, doesn't even do anything. He just kind of flips, sit there, and then he can get 1 shot off the board. Again, he's a recurring leader that can constantly come out as long as you play a unit that is 4 cost or more. But his effect is kind of meh. And then we have over here Moth Ash Blue. By the way, the opponent is only playing the Hoth base and only playing it at the 20 health mark, not at the 30 health mark. The other side is the 30 health mark. So only at 20. So Moff Gideon from Ash states action. If an Imperial unit died that phase, the next Imperial unit, I believe the next unit you play that phase costs 1 less. So he doesn't even care what you play the next phase. If an Imperial unit dies, you just get a 1 cost reduction. He flips on 7, and on his backside, for every single Imperial unit in your discard, for every keyword on that Imperial unit, he gains that keyword. Besides, I believe shield. I forget the 2 keywords he can't get. But there's 2. Oh, he can't get restore because of the nature of way restore, and he can't get raid. So the whole kind of reason I think we believe he doesn't get those 2 keywords is because raid always has an X number next to it, and restore has an X number next to it. So if you say you had 2 Imperial units that had restore 3 and restore 2, does that mean Moff Gideon gets restore 5? Or does he get only restore 2 or restore 3? And if you had a raid 3 and another raid 3, does he get raid 6? So balancing reasons, I guess Fantasy Flight Games didn't want to try to figure out exactly how to work him, even though I think you could have still done it. He could have been raid X and then restore X with a big FAQ that said, hey, the X means all of the restore in your grave, every Imperial unit with restore, add each of its individual numbers together. So you get restore 5 if you have an Imperial unit with restore 3 and 2. You get raid 6 if you're an Imperial unit that has raid 3 and 3. But I think they didn't also want to do that because then that could turn into weird deck building strategies where you play a lot of Imperial units with restore or raid and kind of then make this really overpowered Moff Gideon. He is 5'8". But still, that could happen. I doubt it, really. They could have probably put him on there, but I think the whole reason they didn't want to put like a big X and then have to asterisk onto his card exactly how X works in this context. But nonetheless, it's all just about Imperials, getting Imperials into the discard so that you could then allow Moff Gideon to flip and so that he can get a bunch of keywords. He's a really fun leader, in my opinion. I think he's jank, but he's fun. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Here we go for the Grogu side. We have a Palace Chef droid, then we're going to go for a Mouse droid, and we're going to go for an Outland Patroller as well, both Imperial. The Outland Patroller does have Sentinel. I believe when the Mouse droid is defeated, your next Imperial unit you play does cost 1 less, which isn't too bad in a deck strategy where you are definitely playing a lot of Imperial units. Because again, Moff Gideon's whole gimmick is just Imperial. That's all he wants to play is Imperial. So anyways, then we're going to go for a Duchess Protector. So anyways, the Palace Chef droid does actually have Sentinel and does get a +2 to its attack. +2 to its attack when defending. So the Mouse droid is going to die there and dealing 2 damages back to the Palace Chef droid, and then we're going to have the Moff Gideon effect trigger, so it was able to reduce the play cost of that Imperial unit by 1, and then of course the Mouse droid went off as well. So, and then Duchess Defender is when defeated, create a Mandalorian token. So anyways, we're going to then have the Duchess Protector go and kill, slam into the shield for the Commando there, and then we're going to have a shield token come out with a shield on it. No, experience token come out with a shield token on it. That is a Mando token over there. Mandos are 2/2 coming in shielded. So anyways, then we're going to pay 1 here. Again, Grogu can only come out if a unit has 4 cost or more. I don't know what that upgrade was, but anyways, we're going to have Outland TIE Fighter swing in for 2 damage there. Then we're going to go for a forgetting her name, but anyways, a Val coming down immediately when play, give a shield token to one of your units. When defeated, your opponent then gets to choose a unit to give a shield token to one of their own units. So typically you would play it in Tobias, and Tobias would then have it killed, and then because technically it was your card, your opponent then gets to choose a shield token to give. So anyways, and that's also a Stamp Prestige Vel as well. So anyways, we're going to go for the Scorpionic droid, and then of course a shield token with the Outland, and then we're going to go for Ahsoka. That's the Black Series Ahsoka, the pitch 1, and you want your opponent then chooses a card. If it's a unit card, your opponent rests 1 unit on their board state. So pretty cool there to see that Ahsoka, especially that Black Series. But unfortunately, we're just going to go for the no glow on the results, meaning the Ahsoka can't come out this turn. And I also do believe that the No, Ahsoka, I believe. No, Ahsoka's a 4, so he technically could have flipped Grogu off of that one because yeah, Ahsoka's a 4 coming out. So, anyways, then we're gonna have Grogu come out as well. So, again, remember if a 4 cost or higher unit was played that phase, you do get to flip yourself out. So, we're gonna have Grogu come out as well. So, anyways, that also is the promo art if you went to see the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Honestly, if you didn't go see the movie, it sounds like you kind of can figure out the movie yourself. So anyways, I think both our players are just discussing Grogu and how he flips and all of that, and how he works and all of that. So nonetheless, he does get to flip here because, again, Ahsoka was a 4 cost more unit. They get to flip out for that. Anyways, then Moth's going to take the initiative there. So we have a Scorpionic and then a Outland TIE Fighter. Again, not much damage coming from the Outland, so no reason to really worry. But Moff Gideon does have Sentinel, does have shielded right now because of the Commando right now in the graveyard. So anyways, we're going to have the Scorpionic droid. It's going to go swing and it's going to kill off the Ahsoka here, and then that is allowed to trigger Grogu's ability, so it does take 1 more damage on the attack because of thanks to Grogu. Again, I believe Grogu is when you get +1 more attack when your opponent attacks you. I think then your opponent takes 1 less defense when you attack them. So anyways, we're going to go for playing out a Lothwolf, and then we're going to go for it's the Ewok card that got reprinted in Ash here. So anyways, then we're going to have the Outland TIE Fighter. Then we're going to go, of course, it healed all the damage off. And then we're going to have the Outland TIE Fighter attack before, of course, the heal. And then we're going to bring out Moff Gideon. And it looks like, oh, that was the way of the Mandalore. And then we're going to have Moff Gideon come out to the board. So he does come in shielded, so they have a shield. But then we're going to immediately knock out that shield off of Moff Gideon. Then we're going to go for a Craving Power to immediately kill off the Lothwolf so that we can immediately attack, leaving only a Grogu, a 0-3 that can do anything. I just wish they gave Grogu like 1 attack point to do something more. Hey, it's a Babu Frick. Hey, baby! The whole kind of gimmick of the deck was just to allow the player with the Grogu was just to play Babu Frick so they could go, hey, baby, from the movie. And then we're going to play the Grogu with Hidden that can tap itself and then remove 2 damage from a unit and then heal, then put that much damage on their place. So anyways, we're going to go for Val, and then that's going to allow our opponent to give a show token to the Moff Gideon because Moff Gideon is going to get another Craving Power. But hey, we did get to see the whole gimmick of the Grogu deck was just so that we could play out Babu Frick, and so I can say again, hey, baby, let's go, baby, and all that's, jazz. Anyways, we're going to go for Foundling Rescue, and then it's going to be able to kill the Outland TIE Fighter and allow him to create a Mandalorian token with a shield on it. And we're going to go for Moff Gideon punching for a whole lot of damage there. That's pretty much just going to be very close to game here because I don't think there's any way to deal with the Moff Gideon. And then we're going to go for a Fleet Interdictor and then a Bunker Defender that does give Sentinel as long as you have a space unit on the board. So a Fleet Interdictor is a space unit there. So I think that game is going to conclude here right now. But hey, at least the Babu Frick got to come out so we can say, hey, baby. And we can at least do the greatest gimmick in the world. So anyways, the game is pretty much over. Fleet Interdictor can win it in 1 shot. We're going to go for Babu Frick. Babu Frick is going to have to go after the Bunker Defender. And the whole kind of thing also here is that the 20-sided base didn't even take a damage point to it. So anyways, Moff Gideon for the win. And that is it for that Trilogy matchup. Very fun, I will always 100% enjoy Trilogy of what Trilogy does, how it plays, and all of that. It's just a really fun format altogether. But nonetheless, guys, you let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the Trilogy decks, on Vane Yellow, on Moth, Ash Blue, on Grogu Blue, and on Palpatine Sec Data Vault. If you guys have tried any of these leaders in the current format or are interested in trying them, as well as your thoughts on Trilogy. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you're notified when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Dragons TCG.